Hey, hey, hey. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. God bless you if you're watching this video this morning. And, before we get started, I would like to just read a passage, that from Second Timothy 1, verse 7. It says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and discipline." And so, you see, the ability that God gave us when He created us does not make us timid, but gives us what? Gives us power and love and self discipline. You see, I understand that God says in the last days, it will be like how it was in the days of Noah. And so that understanding is showing that in the days of Noah, what Noah in fact did was what he created an ark due to the inspiration of God. And when he created this ark, right, he then basically lined up animals two by two as God instructed him to do so. You see what I mean? And so he did this for a long period of time, maybe 150 years. He was warning people, he was telling people, giving people the messages and everything. And however, people, right, did not hear him. At the end of the day, there was just 8 people, including Noah, that went inside the ark, along with animals side by side, pairs of two, female, male, male, some unclean animals, mostly clean animals, different species, right? So that they can repopulate the earth. And the reason why God instructed Noah to do so is simply because the corruption and the deception upon the earth was too high. There was too much, what's it called, demonic technology that was taking place between the fallen angels and the people, because um, the angels were teaching the humans, right? Dark magic, black magic. They were also, mating with them and making giants, and there was too much things that was taking place. So, what in the result of that was less resources. Matter of fact, the animals were getting eaten so much, it was going rapidly, and then they started to resort to eating humans. And so, if that was left, there would be no humans left at the end of the day, right? So God had to come up with a solution. So what he had to do was flood the earth for 40 days, and which he did. And so now we as believers believe that it's the last days because there are so many signs that indicate that it's becoming like the days of Noah, meaning the technology, the understand, the concept, the corruption, all of these things that are taking place upon the earth is now re-happening once again at these times. So a lot of leaders want to gather together and try to solve this issue, right? Solve this issue due to the fact that, we are combating climate change and all these things. Now, what I am saying is what they need to analyze is God's concept of the days of Noah, meaning that, you see, God flooded the earth, right? So, what if we were to what? Freeze the earth, right? Because think about it, all surgeries, everything that you do in order to preserve life, there is some type of freezing mechanism that is applied to it. And the earth is living just like us. So when we go for surgeries, what happens? If we're going for a surgery, in our veins or something like that, we have to numb that part of our body, and then what? The surgery takes place. So perhaps the solution to the climate change, right, is the injection of freezing. So you freeze everywhere on earth. I know that a lot of species, but before that, you can basically preserve these species due to creating habitats for them, right? And then basically feed them, give them the resources they need for a concept of 2 years. Us as people, we can adapt to the code due to the fact that if we get advancement warning and we take this warning seriously. And so you would freeze Africa, places that doesn't snow, and all of these things so that you can combat the climate change. Because if not, right, no matter what we try to do, we can't solve the issue in the concept of way that we are doing. Because guess what? There's a lot more problems than what is shown on the surface. And majority of the problem is substating the earth, right? Because there's a lot of people, yes, but the earth is made for people, right? When God created the earth, he said, populate the earth. So God's words don't lie. He didn't say depopulate the earth. That means as much people as come, he's the one that oversees the cycle of people coming in and out of the earth. He signs off. There is nobody else that has permission before God. Do you see what I mean? And after God. So therefore, that concept of populating the earth, that is a concept of God. And God's words never lie. So what we need to do is in fact, right, inherit the laws of God and follow it because it's universal, right? And a lot of times I feel like we don't understand fully the laws of God, knowing that his words and whatever he says is universal to every single situation that we may get ourselves into. And a lot of times, if we steer away from that and we change the way we do it, right, due to what is on the surface and not really analyzing the concept of spirituality, you know, we are going to not be able to understand the concept of play. So, my suggestion is what we need to do is freeze the earth, right? We can do that for a period of 2 years, right? Maybe not the exact 2 years, maybe a little bit longer, but in that time, right, there's going to be a lot of changes to the earth. And there's going to be a lot of changes for us as well, too, right? And the because Antarctica is very cold, right? But it gets warmer and warmer and warmer, and it could create such a catastrophe if we don't, what's it called, maintain it. And the only way to do that is to freeze it, right? Freeze a lot of parts. Yes, there's going to be problems, but it's not going to be major like what we're getting ourselves into now. You know, how would we save the earth if we don't? What's it called? We need time so that therefore there will be teams of incisions that will go into those type of environments and revamp certain things to make it, revive again. Because if we do not do that, and we are going with the concept of, you know, 15-minute cities, you can't go this, you can't go that, right? But there's a lot of things that we do as people that is going to still pollute the earth. But if we freeze it, right, it's going to solve a lot of issues, right, in a lot of places. And what that means is animals will get to live much more longer. The ones, right, just like the days of Noah, if we follow that same concept, but we apply modification to this modern day lifestyle and how we are and what we have known and what we are knowing, right? If we apply that same concept, we are able to solve a lot of issues that we couldn't solve before. And, you know what I mean? Minimizing the peoples and where they go and stuff like that. It may work for just a temporary period of time, but it's not going to work for a permanent period of time because it's still going to show those type of results. You see what I mean? It's still going to change. But if the earth has a more colder atmosphere, there's going to be a lot of changes. People are going to result in less movements, number one, all around the world, right? Without no protests and all of these demands and stuff like that. And I know that this concept can be done because we have the machine, right? People they have invented a machine. You can change the concept of play. Yes, there's a lot of people that are not used to the weather, right? It's too cold and stuff like that. But if you prepare by giving them resources, right, before you implement this, then it's going to save a lot of lives. Those who take the resource are going to take it. The climate, the environment, all of these disasters that will take place won't take place. But I'm just saying, right? The concept of Noah, what he did, we need to study that a little bit more, but modify it to our modern time. If we do so, surely we will be able to come up with a solution that is much better than what we are doing now. Because ultimately, people want to save. But depopulation was something that was done in the days of Noah. But it was due to the fact that the angel technology that was taking place amongst the humans and the fallen angels was creating such a disaster because they were mating, giants were being made. These giants' appetites are, like, I don't know, 5,000 or 50,000 more than us. They eat way more than us. What we eat in a month is what they eat in probably one sitting, right? So that is so much, right? And so God had to do something about that. But this day and age, what we know, what we understand, and the type of technology that we are able to create and will can allow us to what? Combat climate change drastically. It shouldn't be about money. This climate change kind of solution should be something that have unlimited sources of money that every single country should be able to contribute. Because guess what? If people are doing this, right, it should be for the better of the people. Do you see what I mean? For the better of the people. So it shouldn't be a job that people should get paid for. It should be something that you're doing to save lives. So ultimately, you know what I mean? It's something that people should get great awards for and recognize and all of these things. But it shouldn't be people getting paid is the reason why things are not being done. You see what I mean? And the technology, if we have different ways or we have different inventors that can come up with easier ways to basically, alternative resources of power that's not going to pollute the earth, that's going to last longer, that's going to help us, we should, in fact, take on their concept of inventions rather than the ones that we're used to. Because, yes, the ones that we're used to may be working and work for a long time, but is costing us a lot of problems. So I think that companies and organizations should merge with such inventors and make that a concept of reality. Because if when COVID came, and COVID is still around, right? But when it came on a mass level, we were able to, you know, stop the concept of movement and where people were going and all of these things. Yes. And that helped to a degree. But we need to apply that in a better format. See what I mean? Some people might not understand what I'm saying, But I'm just saying, the days of Noah is a concept that can be replayed today, right? But it needs to be replayed in a more modern, more sophisticated, and more simplified version where it does help us. And what can really help us is snow is something that brings cold, right? It freezes a lot of things, but freezing a lot of things can what give us a lot of time to be able to reconstruct the things that are taking place that are in fact destroying our what's it called our habitats and destroying the ways of our lives. You see what I mean? Because the carbon is excessive. Now, what would happen if, you know, people's cars get confiscated and you can't drive, you can't do all of these things, right? Where would all these cars go? You see what I mean? Would you destroy everyone's car? Because, you know what I mean? But things must change. Then the concept that we are, because there's going to be a lot of rebellion, there's going to be a lot of changes, there's going to be, so much things, right? And we have the Spirit of God within us. That means God has given us an opportunity to use our ability of concept of play and the way we see and do things, right? He has given us that capability. But we need to be wise in how we attack this problem, because I know, there's a lot of scientists, there's a lot of doctors, there's a lot of high political people trying to say, you know what, the normal population don't seem to understand what is truly going on. We cannot really give them that full information on the time limit, because that's going to indicate that we have made a lot of mistakes. So we are going to try to solve it, and all we need is them to comply. And so that is the concept of doing so. However, the the giants and all of these kinds of demons and stuff like that are not around. And if they are, their population is not as big as before. So we need to see and do things differently, because if we do things differently and we understand the concept of what took place in the days of Noah, we are going to be able to solve this issue. We're going to be able to solve the problems that we couldn't solve simply because there's so much people, right? But getting rid of so much people is not the problem, is not the issue. You see what I mean? That's not the answer, right? Changing the environment will change the concept of understanding on how we do things as people. Think about it. So let me know what you guys think of this concept, right? Like, comment, and share this video. Stay motivated. Have a great day, guys. Bye now.